team! Today we're going to show you our hyperfixations we drew for each other.
Hyperfixations!
As in, Rob drew mine and I drew his. And when we say hyperfixations, it's like the thing that our mental illnesses seem to have in common.
There are certain things we're super fans of. Like, when we talk about it, people think we're super upset about it, but we just have a lot of passion.
We're a little bit intense. And at least for mine, I sometimes am thinking about it more often than is probably healthy. But when I'm not thinking about something, when I don't have one of my hyperfixations to go back to, I get kind of weirdly depressed. It's like a lonely feeling. It is part of the mental illness. It's not actually healthy.
Here we go.
The first one is yours.
Now, you had a lot to choose from. Because you really like Batman.
I do.
You like Beetlejuice.
Always.
You like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, those are like my mainstays, I think. See, again, I'm a fan of a lot of things, but I feel like the hyperfixation is a different level. It's more intense.
Well, this is why I chose your top three, which is Batman, Beetlejuice, and Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
So, luckily, Batman has some crossover characters, too, because that Mad Hatter could be Batman's Mad Hatter or Alice's Mad Hatter.
Yeah. Batman has a lot of Alice characters within it, including the White Rabbit.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Uh-huh. Just a lot of people. There is Humpty Dumpty, though I don't know if you would automatically consider that part of Alice or not.
Well, it's a poem within the Alice in Wonderland, so yeah, that's Alice in Wonderland.
Well, she talks to him.
Yeah.
Doesn't end well for anyone, but, I like this.
They're all my style, but I am aping like 3 different styles in this, because there's the Beetlejuice cartoon, there's the Disney animated Alice, and there's Batman the animated series.
Right.
And they're all very different.
But like that Mad Hatter looks like the Alice Mad Hatter very much.
Yes.
Oh, I like the little teacup. Teacup was not what I was trying to say, but that too. The
teacups
teapot.
and tea kettles?
Yeah. And I love Alice talking to Lydia.
Yeah, so now we're gonna edit
Angry.
Well, it's Batman. You know, like, he didn't decide to come to the tea party. This is part of some villainous plot.
Oh, that's a good Batman, though.
I used a lot of references.
You did it, though. You nailed Batman.
There's some more edits later, and they're very different styles. Like, I had to go and be like, okay, because with the Beetlejuice cartoon, they have their eyes, they have eyeshadow, and then they have, like, big eye sockets that are colored in differently.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's taking the makeup of the movie and going, okay, but how do we make this across the board for every character?
Yeah, so Beetlejuice still looks grimy, but there's it's a lot more stark colors, so you don't get that crustiness around the hairline.
Yeah.
That was so
the moldy.
Yeah, the moldiness that he looked like. And then Joker. Joker in the animated series got several redesigns, but I went with a very angular, classic Joker.
Yeah.
When they took away his, they simplified him in, season 5, and I never liked that.
Yeah, they took away a lot of his facial features, including his lips.
Yeah.
And just made him kind of...
He was just, eyes and a smile. He had no accentuating features, because he never had eyebrows anyway.
No, he was kind of the Beetlejuice animated series-esque, in terms of just color around the eyeball. So that works, too.
He's doing the classic one lump or two joke, because he's the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And Hatter's just befuddled about whether he's about to be arrested or have a lovely tea party.
Which works anyway, because even in the book, he gets arrested, technically. He gets in trouble. That's the whole reason for the Mad Tea Party.
Batman, you're not going turbo, are you?
But he's basically in house arrest.
Yeah.
That's why it's always tea time. They kind of tried to play with that in one of the Tim Burton ones. But I feel like the Tim Burton ones... Maybe somebody didn't read the books. I have to assume that. I have opinions on that one. Those two.
I have opinions. Opinions about Tim Burton.
Yeah. Well, I love Beetlejuice. And I love Alice. So you'd think that I would have loved the Tim Burton Alice, and I did not.
Yeah.
But there's so many other versions of Alice that I love that are objectively worse movies. There's just something about that one. It was just... I needed Alice to give a crap about anything she was doing.
It felt prey to a lot of modern movies where they just stick someone in a green screen, and it's just they don't like, it didn't catch. Like, no one seemed like they were actually talking to each other.
Yeah, my issue really is just she gets told where to go, and even the end of the first movie, she gets told, okay, take this blade, it'll do it for you.
She doesn't have to be a warrior, she just has to stand there.
She has no autonomy at all.
Well, that's why I drew the Disney Alice.
Yeah. Because that one was technically also Disney.
The Alice I always remember was the BBC version where she pulls the Billy Goat's beard to stop the train.
We have so many different versions on DVD.
Yes, I know, we sorted them.
Yeah. Some of them are great and some of them are not.
Because we made you an Alice shelf, and then we filled it with all the Alice in Wonderland stuff you had, and we filled it, and it doesn't even hold 20%.
No, we had to separate the American McGee stuff.
That specifically had to have it have its own separate, like, shelf.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh man, we fast forwarded through a lot of the pen work. I'm already doing the settings.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Well, we're going to do colors, because that takes a while. I did have to split this up into several videos, because my video capture was like half the screen was freezing on me.
Oh.
So I had to stop and restart stuff.
See, I stop anyway. I take breaks throughout mine, so mine was all chopped into a million different sections.
I don't take breaks.
You should.
Nope.
It's better for your hand.
Nope, no breaks. Just draw everything at once.
Why? Why no breaks?
Because that's my hyperfixation, is just doing all the work.
All at once?
Doing all the work all at once. No breaks.
Hmm. So, well, I guess it's the hyperfocus.
Yeah, it's the hyperfocus from the ADHD. I just sat down and did it. I redrew this because he looked more like Fat Man with the colors on, and went, oh, Batman shouldn't be that wide.
I really like that Batman a lot. And the animated series is cool because it was all done on black paper.
Yeah, animated series. Oh, sets so many standards for animation, not only in like children's animation, but just animation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, still to this day, it holds up. So, like Jurassic Park, you go back and watch the original, holds up.
Right. It's the reason why when Avatar came out, not The Last Airbender, but the other Avatar, and everyone was talking about how amazing the effects were and how realistic it was. And it's like, it looks like a cartoon. It's CG, and it looks CG, and I'm sorry that you're so high that you think this looks real, but it llooks like a cartoon. It's a very pretty cartoon, but don't lie to my face.
It's a great technical demo reel. Look at what this technology is possible of, but I didn't connect with it.
I mean, the first 13 Ghosts was kind of that too, because it was look at this 3D technology, but instead of 3D, it's so you can see the ghosts or not, depending on if you're wearing the glasses.
Speaking of 3D, we've been, 3D movies have come up a lot, and I think I'm going to watch Jaws 3D tonight.
Oh no.
Getting the Joker's coloration proper. Give him big, silly hammer. I had a lot of fun with the colors in this, because all the characters have very, distinct coloration.
And bright.
Yeah.
Everything's bright and vivid.
Act the one guy at the table who just wants to enjoy his tea.
He doesn't know why he's here.
I feel like there's a fight that's going to break out, and I don't know why. It got very awkward in here.
He was arrested for killing time, I think. So technically murder.
Murder!
Yeah. Technically murder.
Did that come through in the second Alice movie? Did he kill time?
No. No, but Time was a character in the second.
That's what I'm saying. That was potentially a smart thing, but you said no, that's not what happened.
No. Because the whole thing was about the Mad Hatter, but not for the right reasons.
I remember in the live action, at the end, Johnny Depp danced and everyone acted like it was awesome, and I went, why the fuck is this in here?
Yeah. I actually did like the second one more than the first one, because Alice actually did things. But it made it more apparent that someone was stealing ideas from American McGee very blatantly.
Yeah. I didn't pencil anything. I just went, these are what the stripes are.
Just stripes.
Yeah, I did. I'm very proud of how the stripes came out, considering I did not plan anything there.
No.
Can't wait. I made Beetlejuice and Joker saying something. I gave away Joker's line. I don't know if I should give away Beetlejuice's.
I mean, we'll see it.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it so that people know. Beetlejuice I have saying, it's like looking in a fucking mirror, pointing at Batman, because they're both Keaton.
Mm-hmm. Both played by Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
At least in the movies.
That's my joke. And it's so weird to go for, Beetlejuice to Disney-style Alice to back to Beetlejuice on this side. They're very, very different. So, see, now we go back to the Beetlejuice, and it's very, they all have eye makeup, but then, they're very tired because they have very sunken eyes.
Yeah, and you're right about the separate eyelids.
Yeah, very, very angular on the Beetlejuice and very curved and soft on the Disney. And I think I did better capturing the Beetlejuice than the Disney.
Well, no,
It's recognizable. I'm not it's not Disney style though. It's
recognizable, and you can see that the Mad Hatter is the Mad Hatter. I think he's very specifically the Mad Hatter. For future Disney, if you're ever trying to go for a Disney specific style, the trick is that the outlines are never black.
Ah.
They're always a darker whatever the main color is of the character.
That makes sense. They pop but don't really pop. I know there's a similar trick that was used in video games where the characters are outlined in black, but the items are outlined with just a darker of their color, so that the characters pop more than the items.
See, that's cool. I like that.
Different artistic things. So, okay. I also know that I need to make her eyes bigger. I should have just made her face bigger on her head to really ape the Disney style.
Well, maybe a more separated head from neck.
Yeah.
That might have done it.
I mean, with Lydia, I did that because that's how the animation is.
Yeah. Probably makes it easier to animate. Although, I don't know, still cell
Beetlejuice.
It's like a beginning mirror.
Strangely enough, Batman's there to arrest Alice. That bottle she has, meth.
So for you, Deathclaw Deathmatch.
Ooh, Deathclaw. I do like Fallout.
You like Fallout, and you like wrestling.
Oh, wrestling deathmatch.
Yes.
Nice.
I wanted it to be like a pun, and that was the closest I could come up with.
Oh, I like this.
It gets a little easier to see later on. The first sketch I did an awful blue against this particular gray, but I figured it out later.
Oh, that's looking nice. Oh, I like that pose.
Because I wanted him to be the way they used to be, like the older Fallout games.
Yeah. Yeah, Fallout 1 and 2, Deathclaw is like where it's at.
Yeah, because they're more hunched over, more like gorilla-ish. You know, whereas over time, in the later games, they wind up standing upright, and that's less fun. At that point, you're just a people.
They went from something special to just generic ogre monsters.
Right. So I wanted it to be a little bit more like the other ones.
Yeah. Like, even in Fallout New Vegas, like, there's an area of Deathclaws, and unless you're extremely well-armored or late game, you don't just traipse through there.
Yeah.
And then in Fallout 4, it's just like, you kill 2 Deathclaws an hour.
Yeah.
It just became such...
They're just everywhere.
Yeah. In Fallout 1, like, entire caravans fell to, like, one nest of these beasts. And in Fallout 2, you find one that's been, he's been, like, hyper-evolved to the point that, like, he talks. And He joins your party, and he's in a robe, and no one mentions it.
I like that, though. Doing the spikes was a little hard. Doing the teeth.
I like what you're doing.
I kept having to overdo the line and then erase what I didn't want. Because otherwise it just wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to be smooth enough.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted it with so many layers, because that way I could just erase and not worry about the other thing I already liked. But I got the face down first. It's like, how do I make this look like a character, but also monstrous?
I know I'm only going to partially remember this story, so I'm going to have to look up what the actual thing is later. But I know the original Deathclaw model, like, because they had a clay model for their it wasn't technically isometric view in Fallout, but it was something similar to isometric view. And so they had clay models that they had taken photos of and they had digitized. And I think that the Deathclaw model was something that didn't make it into a D&D game.
Oh,
that
maybe.
they just added, like, some spikes to. Because the original spikes looked more like head tendrils.
I put so many spikes on this guy.
They got a lot more spikier as time went on.
There were certain things from newer Deathclaws that I wanted to use, but mostly it's sort of a mix. I picked and chose different aspects of each. I had trouble with this leg.
I like his wrestling shorts.
Thank you.
Very classic look.
Made his arm even bigger.
Oh, they're muscly.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what his wrestling name would be.
I mean, just Deathclaw.
Yeah. Just Deathclaw.
Yeah.
And
or, like, whatever his name is, the Deathclaw. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Like, early wrestling, that's all you need. Like, the Undertaker is just the guy who is an Undertaker.
That's true.
Who has spooky powers.
And for the belt...
That's the Fallout. Oh.
Yeah. I think I spent more time on this than anything else.
This guy had that little lightning bolt appearance on it.
Yeah. There we go. I don't know why that was so
Super
hard.
mutants don't stand a chance. You come to my ring, you're getting ripped asunder.
Spent some time in his crotch. I guess he needed... Yep.
You gotta... I mean, monster crotch is important. Ask Tumblr. You gotta get right.
Oh, there's a very specific kind of fan.
That'll get you. There's someone who's gonna comment. Who's gonna be like, I get that.
Yep. And I tried to get rid of some of the sketch along the way just to clean it up and make it a little easier for me to see what the hell I was doing.
I like this a lot.
Thank you.
You know what's even... I'm gonna tie this even further thought. In Fallout 2, you can go to New Reno. Because New Vegas you can go to New Reno because it's close to California, and when you're there, if you have good stats for it, you can actually become a prize fighter.
I gave him an ear for a little bit. This is when I asked you, do Deathclaws have ears? The answer is no.
The answer is no.
So the ear doesn't stay there, but I wanted to point out that at one point, this drawing had an ear. A cute little ear. And I already don't remember what I did with it, but I know it's not there in the final.
I mean, if you're gonna have a Deathclaw wrestler, that guy's gotta be a heel. You have him come in, dominate, take the title, prance around, be like, who's gonna be the Deathclaw? And then eventually a hometown hero comes in with an unarmed score of 99 and just punches him in the dick and knocks him out.
The ear is gone. Now it is horn.
Yep, horn instead of ear.
More horns.
Which is another thing you could do as a prize fighter, is just punch people in the dick and knock them out.
I was gonna say, you could have more horns.
Punch them in the horn. That's where it hurts them.
Oh, these fingers too. It's just so many lines. I wanted everything to be as angular as possible.
It works for the Deathclaw.
Yeah. And my main reference was those earlier games, which made it hard to use it as a reference, because...
The resolution was 4.
Yeah, trying to figure out what I was looking at.
I played the original Fallout 1 on a Pentium 90, which is a 0.9 megahertz processor.
Yeah.
On a CRT monitor that was like thicker than it was wide.
The first Alice game was kind of hard to look at, and the controls were really, really wonky. And they remade it when they did Alice Madness Returns. But it's the same basic controls, just now you have to do it on, like, better computers or on a game system, like an actual console, and it doesn't work. It is, like, it works, it functions, but oh my god, it's somehow even harder.
They had so much vision, and the technology just wasn't there yet.
No. And Madness Returns is so pretty!
Wasn't the original Alice built in, like, the Quake engine?
Yes.
Which is not... Alright. Question answered.
Yeah, it was Quake. You know, Quake and Doom, and there were a lot of games of that era that, like, they were responsible for a lot of things that came later in games, just by proxy of existing.
First and having the space inside. Yeah.
Right. But that doesn't mean it completely held up exactly as it could have.
No.
But we appreciate them for being there.
Well, the movies that are classic movies, that's like they're the first ones to do X, Y, and Z, but that doesn't mean they're fun to watch anymore.
Yeah. Or you're looking at something like, wow, that's a trope, and then you realize, yeah, this is where the trope came from. There are a lot of those too in more classic movies.
Yeah.
And in some games, it's similar. Like,
the language of cinema is essentially a century old.
Oh yeah.
So.
And I'd argue the same thing with games. Like, we watched that whole thing on Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And it was pointed out that, yeah, the reason it's like every other third-person shooter is because it's Resident Evil. It's
the original. The second first-person shooter to exist.
Ever.
Everyone else making one said, hey, let's take the good ideas.
Right.
It also looks kind of like an X-Men costume right now. Like
it
the
does.
Classic blue and yellow. I appreciate you gave them the vault colors.
Yeah.
But I'm also recognizing that it's just like, Scott Summers wants to come down to this ring.
And you can see my little palette
He'll meet a real beast. Yeah, no, you did with the palette bubbles. I love that.
You can see the second image, the second Photoshop.
Yeah.
And that's literally just a Fallout image where I was trying to collect the colors from and then be like, alright, this is what I'm using to try to make things.
Did you find that, I know you had asked for like reference stuff, and I told you that the Fallout 1 loading screens were like comic book covers?
I found them and did not use them.
Well, they were much, like, their color scheme was much more drab.
Yeah, I was looking for vibrant.
Yeah, they set a much more drab tone, whereas, like, I mean, your character pops on the Fallout screen because everything's, like, yellow and brown, and you're wandering around in this, like, blue and yellow striped suit.
Yeah, I know I went to the Fallout Boy. Fallout Boy. Fallout Boy. I just picture the bands now. Just in the costume.
Where is your boy tonight? I hope he's a gentleman.
Yes. Coloring this, I tried so many different things.
I mean, this is looking interesting.
I tried so many different techniques.
Because they were, like, very red and fleshy in the first games.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted. And I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look up what D&D monster that their asset was stolen from, and everyone who used to be on the No More Mutants web ring is gonna be commenting, be like, I can't believe you don't remember that.
Web rings. So, I had such grand plans for this coloring job.
I see you making like gloves and hands, and you're gonna fade it. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming. Oh.
And trying to figure
I'm waiting
out
for that smudge tool.
how I was gonna do different things. Well, first I tried this. Because there's a paintbrush option. A paintbrush brush. a blending brush that I try using. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it makes a neat something, but it's not quite what I'm going for.
Wasn't even really looking for.
Not what I was looking for. But it did something. But, you know, I use these to try new things, and that's what I did. But he looks just damaged. He looks bruised. And I didn't want that, so I tried to patch it up a little bit. There we go.
There you go. That's oh, it's coming along.
Yeah, more watercolory.
Ooh, that is coming along. I really like it.
Thank you.
I'll have to put a picture of this with my other Fallout stuff.
And he does look like he's just standing there talking, but I figure that's what they do sometimes.
Yeah,
It's like,
the talking variety.
yeah, this isn't just him about to slam somebody down. This is him talking, calling somebody out.
Death Claws have two modes: kicking your ass in the ring, and whipping your ass on the microphone. You're getting a dose of 2. You come down here, you get a dose of 1.
Trying to give a little bit of shading on that belt.
It's looking real good.
Thank you.
I really like Maximal Deathclaw.
I don't know where the
champion.
light source is. I was thinking from up, but I don't
I mean,
know.
if he's a wrestling ring, yeah, probably from. He's probably somewhat spotlighted.
So he was me trying to decide this. Shadow is the word. And figure out, like, what would you actually be blocking with lights, and is there a light from the side, and there's the ropes.
Oh, you did the ropes!
I did.
Ah! That's such a good shadow.
And this changes.
You gotta find it.
Yeah.
You gotta find it.
And I have to figure out where the light is coming from. You should decide where the light is coming from before you draw the picture. Just general, but I don't.
That looks great. I love him.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for drawing my Hyperfixations.
Thank you for drawing mine.
Oh, rock on.
Rock on.